All right, everybody, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the Charlie Kirk assassination case, and let me tell you, what's coming out now is absolutely shaking the entire conservative movement to its core. On September 10, 2025, at Utah Valley University, Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, the guy who started a national movement when he was just 16 years old, was standing on stage, fired up as always, talking America first, family values, faith, and activating the next generation. And then, out of nowhere, a single gunshot. One loud crack. Charlie grabs his neck, collapses, blood pouring from his neck. Security rushes him off stage, but by the time they get to the hospital, he's gone. One bullet, front on, straight to the neck. Instant death. But now, over a month later, the questions aren't just about why 22-year-old Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. They're about whether this was part of something much bigger. Did Charlie know his life was in danger? Did someone close to him betray him? Is the FBI hiding the truth? If you want justice for Charlie, if you want the full truth to come out, stick with me till the end of this video and drop in the comments, "We want justice for Charlie." First, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened that day, second by second. Then we'll get into how Candace Owens completely flipped this case on its head with her bombshell revelations. After that, we'll break down that bizarre Mike McCoy video that still has everyone scratching their heads and why it doesn't add up no matter how you slice it. And finally, we'll connect the dots with the 2018 text messages, the massive donor pressure, the FBI's eerie silence, and how all of this is pointing towards something that looks a lot like a conspiracy. Let's go. So, picture this. It's September 10th, 2025, Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk is in the middle of his American comeback tour, speaking to a packed auditorium full of students, supporters, cameras rolling live. He's in his element, passionate, animated, talking about patriotism, faith, God's love, and how the younger generation needs to step up and take back the country. He's wearing his signature suit, gesturing with his hands, making eye contact with the crowd. You can feel the energy in the room. Then, out of nowhere, a loud crack. Not a pop, not a bang, but a sharp, unmistakable gunshot. Charlie's hand instinctively goes to his neck. His eyes widen. He stumbles, then drops. Blood starts pouring from the wound. The crowd erupts into chaos. People are screaming, running for cover. Some are pulling out their phones to record. Security jumps into action immediately. They swarm the stage, grab Charlie, lift him up, and rush him out of there. They get him into an SUV and speed to the hospital. But it's too late. By the time they arrive, Charlie Kirk, 32 years old, husband, father of 2 young kids, a 1-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter, is gone. The autopsy confirms it. One bullet, fired from the front, straight through the neck. Death was instantaneous. The shooter, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, caught 33 hours later. The FBI said lone actor, digital evidence, forensics, case closed. But that's where the story gets weird. Right there in the middle of all this madness, Charlie's chief of staff, Mike McCoy, a guy who's been by his side for years, pulls out his phone and starts recording a selfie video. He's saying, over and over, "They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie." Then he says, "He's dead. God help him." And there's applause in the background, people panicking. But Mike, he's just filming himself. No screaming, no crying, no rushing to help. Just recording. That video went viral in hours. People were losing their minds. What was this? Your best friend, your boss for years, gets shot right in front of you, and your first instinct is to film a selfie? Some said it looked like acting. Others went full conspiracy. Was this a staged death? Did Mike know something beforehand? Turning Point USA responded fast. They said Mike bolted the second he heard the shot because he thought the shooter was still active. Blake Neff, who was right there with him, said they both ran for cover, not abandoning Charlie because that was the security team's job, not theirs. About 15 to 20 seconds later, no second shot, so they stopped. Neff said he'll never forget Mike's face. His lip was quivering, something he'd never seen in 2 years of working with him. Mike was freaking out. First thing he did was call his wife, Erika, Charlie's wife. Then he called his dad, Pastor Rob McCoy, and said, "Dad, someone shot Charlie." Call all your pastor friends. We need everyone praying right now." After that, Mike took charge like a general, directing staff to the hospital, controlling the information, making sure Erika heard the news from him and nobody else. But here's the thing, that video is still weird. Like, really weird. Why film yourself in the middle of an active shooter situation? Why not help? Why not panic? It doesn't add up. And that's where the doubts started. Now, let's talk about Candace Owens. The day after the shooting, September 11th, Candace drops her first statement. She says Charlie texted her on September 9th, the day before he died, and told her something was wrong. He had a bad feeling. That one message lit the internet on fire. People started asking, was Charlie getting threats? Did he know something was coming? Then, on October 28th, Candace comes back with her big comeback stream, and she drops two bombshells that changed everything. First, she reveals a private text thread from 2018 between her and Charlie. In it, Charlie writes, "I might be Moses. I might not see this whole thing through. If that happens, be my David." He goes on to say, "Since the beginning of TPUSA, I knew in my gut I might get wiped out at any time. I dream about it all the time." Like, all the time, Candace said this wasn't just a random thought. This was a prophecy. Charlie knew he was going to die for this movement, and he was preparing her to carry the torch. Second bombshell, a group chat from September 8th, 2025, just 48 hours before the assassination. In it, Charlie writes, "Just lost another huge Jewish donor. $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker Carlson." Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. This was in a group of 9 people, including TPUSA insiders and a rabbi. Candace called this proof of massive internal pressure. She said Charlie was being strong-armed into changing his positions, especially on Israel and foreign policy. She also brought up a meeting in the Hamptons where billionaire Bill Ackman and other big donors allegedly warned Charlie to toe the line. Ackman immediately denied it, saying the conversation was respectful, no threats, just dialogue. But those texts, they went viral. People started asking, was Charlie killed because he wouldn't play ball with the donors? Let's shift to Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, mother of 2 little kids, a 1-year-old son, and a 3-year-old daughter. On September 21st, she gave a speech at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, in front of over 100,000 people in person and millions watching online. She said, "That young man on the cross, our Savior, said, 'Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.' That young man, I forgive him." She thanked President Trump, said her husband loved him, and promised the movement Charlie built would not die. She said the evildoers who did this had no idea what they'd unleashed. That speech was powerful. It was raw. It was grace under unimaginable pain. But then Candace started talking about a private letter from Erika that would change everything. Except that letter never surfaced. What did surface were Charlie's old texts, the ones I just told you about. Still, Erika followed Candace on Instagram shortly after, and people started speculating, was this reconciliation? Was Erika signaling support? Inside TPUSA, though, things were getting tense. Staff were uneasy. No official word on whether Erika was taking over as CEO. No clear statements, just silence. And silence, in a case like this, speaks volumes. Now, let's talk about the shooter, Tyler Robinson. 22 years old, caught 33 hours after the shooting. The FBI said lone actor, digital evidence, forensics, case closed. But Candace wasn't buying it. She pointed out weird phrasing in Robinson's texts, like retrieve rifle, which didn't sound right. She claimed the shooter had rooftop access, something only an insider would know about. She said the feds warned TPUSA staff that if they talked, their lives could be in danger. The FBI, silent. No press conferences, no details, just ongoing investigation. But online, it was a wildfire. Discord chats, Steam logs, names like Lance Twiggs, his boyfriend, Sky Valdez, all getting thrown around. Some said it was a trans gamer group. Others said Israel was involved. Some even pointed fingers at TPUSA itself, but no hard proof, just theories. Then came Candace's dream. On October 7th, she said she had a vivid dream where Charlie appeared to her and said just one thing: "I have been betrayed." People were split. Some called it a spiritual message, a sign from beyond. Others said it was grief breaking her mind. Bible experts weighed in, saying spirit communication after death isn't biblical. It's rooted in pagan beliefs. But Candace didn't stop. She kept posting, kept pushing. FBI cover-up, donor pressure, internal betrayal. Laura Loomer called her cruel. Josh Hammer released the full group chat to show Candace had cherry-picked the negative parts. Charlie had written he was setting up an Israel advocacy Zoom, but Candace only showed the donor complaint. So, was there really a conspiracy? Let's connect the dots. Back in 2018, Charlie was already saying he might not live to see the revolution he started. By 2025, he was shifting. He invited Tucker Carlson to America Fest, talked about inviting Candace, questioned U.S. entanglement with Israel. Donors got mad. $2 million gone. Hampton's meeting. Warnings. Then, 48 hours later, a bullet. Mike McCoy's video, weird as hell. FBI silence. Robinson's lone actor story. Candace screaming betrayal. On the other side, Erika's forgiveness. TPUSA pushing forward. 18,000 new campus chapters. Trump's support. Some even asked, did Charlie stage his own death? No way. Autopsy, funeral, Trump's presidential proclamation, all real. But still, the 2018 texts, the donor loss, Mike's video, it all adds up to something off. The more you dig, the more questions pile up. Let's go back to that day in Utah. The shooter, Tyler Robinson. How did he get in? How did he get a clear shot? The stage was under a tent, but he was on a rooftop. How did he know exactly where to position himself? Candace said only someone with inside knowledge could pull that off. And then there's the timing. Charlie had just finished a segment on faith and sacrifice. He was talking about how the front lines aren't always safe. Was that a coincidence, or was someone sending a message? Now, let's talk about Charlie's life leading up to this. He wasn't just a talking head. He was a force. Started TPUSA at 16. Built it into a powerhouse with chapters on hundreds of campuses. He was on the road constantly, speaking, rallying, activating. But in the last year, something changed. He started questioning things. He started pushing back. He invited Tucker Carlson to speak at America Fest, even though Tucker had been critical of U.S. foreign policy, especially regarding Israel. That didn't sit well with some big donors. And then there was the group chat. Charlie wasn't just venting. He was frustrated. He felt like he was being controlled. He felt like his vision for TPUSA was being hijacked by money, and he wasn't afraid to say it. Candace Owens wasn't just a colleague. She was family to Charlie. They had history. They had trust. When she dropped those texts, it wasn't just about drama. It was about legacy. Charlie saw her as the one to carry the torch. He saw her as the one to finish what he started. And when she said he texted her the day before, saying something was wrong, that wasn't just a throwaway line. That was a warning. Charlie wasn't paranoid. He was cautious. He had security. He had protocols. But something slipped through, and then there's Mike McCoy. Let's be real. That video is indefensible. You don't film a selfie when your best friend is bleeding out. You don't stand there calmly repeating the same line. TPUSA says he was in shock. They say he was trying to document the moment. But come on, shock doesn't look like that. Shock looks like screaming, crying, collapsing. Shock doesn't look like a rehearsed monologue. And the fact that TPUSA waited weeks to address it, that doesn't help. If Mike was a hero, why not release the full context immediately? Why let the clip fester online? The donor angle is where it gets really dark. $2 million a year. That's not chump change. That's leverage. That's control. Charlie wasn't just losing money. He was losing influence. He was losing the ability to steer TPUSA the way he wanted. And when he started talking about inviting Candace, that was a direct threat to the old guard. Candace doesn't play by their rules. She doesn't bow to donor pressure. She speaks her mind, and Charlie knew that. He respected that. But the donors? They saw her as a liability. The Hamptons meeting is another piece of the puzzle. Bill Ackman, a billionaire with deep ties to pro-Israel causes, allegedly sat Charlie down and laid it out. toe the line or lose the money. Ackman denies it was a threat. He says it was a conversation. But conversations don't cost $2 million. Conversations don't end with a leader dead 2 months later. And the fact that Ackman released a friendly WhatsApp message with Charlie? That doesn't prove anything. It proves they talked. It doesn't prove what was said. The FBI's silence is deafening. In a case this high profile, you'd expect daily updates, press conferences, transparency. But nothing. Just ongoing investigation. Why? What are they hiding? Candace says they warned TPUSA staff to keep quiet or face consequences. If that's true, that's obstruction. That's intimidation. And if it's not true, why not deny it? Why not release the evidence? Why not show the public what they have on Tyler Robinson? The longer they stay quiet, the more it looks like a cover-up. And then there's the online sleuthing. People are digging through Discord servers, Steam logs, old tweets. Names like Lance Twiggs, Sky Valdez, they keep popping up. Some say it was a coordinated effort by a fringe group. Others say it was a state actor. Israel? The deep state? TPUSA itself? There's no proof, but there's smoke. And where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Candace's dream might be the most controversial part. Saying Charlie visited her in a dream and said, "I have been betrayed," that's a bold claim. Some call it spiritual. Others call it delusional. But here's the thing. Grief does strange things to people. And Candace isn't just grieving. She's on a mission. She believes she's fulfilling Charlie's prophecy. She believes she's the David to his Moses. And whether you buy the dream or not, you can't deny her passion. She's not letting this go. She's not letting the movement forget. Erika Kirk, on the other hand, is the quiet strength. Her speech on September 21st wasn't just powerful, it was historic. Forgiving the shooter in front of 100,000 people. That's not weakness. That's faith. That's grace. But her silence since then? That's strategic. She's not engaging with the drama. She's not clapping back at Candace. She's focusing on the kids, on the movement, on the legacy. And when she followed Candace on Instagram, that wasn't random. That was a signal. Maybe not agreement, but acknowledgement. Two women, both grieving, both fighting for Charlie in their own way. The movement itself is at a crossroads. TPUSA is pushing forward. New chapters are opening. The tour continues. But there's a fracture. One side wants answers, the other wants unity. One side sees Candace as a truth teller, the other sees her as a divider. And in the middle, the truth is getting lost. So what's the truth? Was Charlie betrayed? Was he killed because he wouldn't compromise? Was the FBI complicit? Or was this just a tragic lone act by a disturbed kid? The investigation is ongoing, but the longer it drags on, the more the doubts grow. Charlie Kirk gave his life for a cause. He believed in something bigger than himself. He believed in America, in faith, in family. And now, his death is a mirror. It's showing us the cracks in the movement he built. It's showing us the cost of principle. It's showing us what happens when money and power collide with truth. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Candace onto something? Is there a cover-up? Or is this just grief and conspiracy fever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video if you want justice for Charlie. Because this isn't just about one man. It's about the future of the conservative movement. It's about whether we're willing to face the truth, no matter how ugly it is. Charlie Kirk started a revolution at 16. He didn't live to see it through. But we can. We can honor his sacrifice by demanding answers. By refusing to let his death be in vain. By carrying the torch. So let's do it. Together. We want justice for Charlie. Justice for Charlie. Justice.